Welcome to today's Office Hours, everybody. My name is Mark Stepp. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve. We're going to be talking about the mobile app update that's coming out, and want to make sure that everybody knows some of the features that's been added, some of the functionality that's been improved, and make sure that you guys have the knowledge you need to really use it most effectively. Like I said, I'm the Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve. Doing a lot of different things within the system. And I'm going to mute. Okay, if anybody needs to unmute, certainly unmute yourself, but make sure that you mute to keep any background noise from coming through. So for the last 31 years, I've been doing real estate technology and creator of the workflow platform, the relationship scoring parts of Realvolve. But also, I'm also an engineer and do a lot of engineering stuff. And I took over the mobile app development some time ago, and just kind of really enjoying the mobile development. And what I want to do is kind of show you some of the things that we do and also help you understand the why that we do. With me, I do have Lisa. Lisa's from our Premium Services Department. She is my right-hand person in this trip that we're going on. She helps me with a lot of different things and knows a lot about real estate. So with the time that she spent as a real estate agent, all the stuff that she does to help you guys in the Premium Services Department, the Navigator team is just a absolute phenomenal team that we have to be able to improve what Realvolve can do for you, help you learn what Realvolve can actually do, and make sure that it does it the right way for you. So she's got some incredible experience, and she's going to be manning our chat area. Today, just the agenda, we're going to go over the mobile updates. We're going to also give you guys pre-release access. So technically, and I'll go over this in just a little bit, technically we've submitted all the updates and stuff to the iOS platform for the app stores for both iOS and Android. They have to be approved. It takes a little bit of time. But once they're approved, everybody can have access to them. I've actually deemed the update to go out on August 15th. But I am going to give you guys pre-release access for attending today's office hours. So we'll just kind of go through this. What I want to do is I'm going to show you on the screen just some of the slides that I've got, just make sure it's easy to see. But I've also got my handy dandy mobile device, and you're seeing through QuickTime Player a version of the screen that I've got on my mobile, so you can actually see it much better. So we're going to go over that. A lot of what we're doing is improving the speed, the performance, making sure that there are things that didn't work, do work properly, and we're going to kind of go over all of that. So let me just move this off to the side, and we'll kind of go through it this way. So first thing, whenever you come into Realvolve's mobile app, if you've used it in the past, you will see one button that I removed, the quick access button. We've actually moved that to a different place for the needs that it had. Down here, there was a button up, so I removed that. Everything else is basically the same. One of the things that I did do, because as you guys can see, I've got glasses on, things have gotten bigger. And not necessarily just bigger, but the ability to handle bigger screens. So if you're using large fonts, you'll be able to see stuff. If you're got aging eyes like myself and need glasses, this will be a big benefit as well. So definitely look for that. So let me, over on the contact side, if I click in the contacts, one of the big changes, and a lot of people have requested this one, was the ability to see your contacts by their ABC categories and the coloring of them. So your A's, your B's, all the different coloring. Before we did not have that. So now as you look through these, you can see that the colors are there. If they have an image, you'll see that there's like a little vertical bar with that color to the side of the image. If it doesn't have an image, then it's just the initials that take up that image area, and the background color is that ABC category color. The other thing that we have added is on the far right hand side, I now have the relationship score. There have been a few people that said, I want to be able to see the scoring. I can't see that. I want to make sure that as I'm growing my contacts that I know what their score is, and that is something that we've added to the screen as well. So both of these on the list side has been a easy and successful change on that. One of the things that we've done, and part of why we removed that front button off of it, is we've added some additional filters for you guys. So first off, make sure that you guys do understand the little filter icon in this upper right-hand corner. This filter icon allows you to see an extra screen. So if I click on it, you'll see that it pops in. And in this, you have drop-down options. So if I click on the little drop-down, I can see all the different saved filters that we've had, but I've also added the ability to have what we call floating filters. And the floating filters are just quick and easy ways to say, okay, show me all my new contacts in the past week or the past 2 weeks. And you may keep that as your primary filter on all the time. So if I choose like 2 weeks, past 2 weeks, and say apply filter, it goes out and it'll find what contacts have been added within the past 2 weeks. Now, this is my training site, so not a whole lot of contacts have been added, but technically whenever you've got names coming in from all your different websites, your lead sources that are providing those names to you, you're gonna have a lot of names coming in and you want to be able to see those. So you might want to see, hey, what were the ones that were just recently added within the last day, 2 days, whatever. You can set up the floating filters. Likewise, we can go in and we can do like last updated. So maybe if they've been updated or I've touched them in some way within the past 2 weeks, and apply that. So then I can see those names. One of the things that people are not aware of as much is long pressing, meaning I'm actually touching the screen kind of for a long time. You can press on that filter icon and just hold it there for a second, and it will remove the filter. So you don't have to see what filter, you don't have to go into the filter screen just to clear it. So that's an easy way of clearing your filter. Just press and hold the little filter icon and it will go away. Any questions on that so far? If you guys have questions, don't hesitate to raise your hand or put in the chat, or even just unmute yourself and we can certainly go through and answer those as well. Rachel did ask, when should we expect our app to show these changes? So I'll get to that in a few minutes. The technical release of this is going to be on August 15th. So in like a week and a half, we'll actually release it to the public, but we're going to give you guys early access so you guys can actually have access to it right away. Okay, one of the things that I do want to do is go into the filter area. I want to make sure you guys are aware of, down in the bottom area, there is the custom filter. So if you click on custom filter, it gives you the ability to search other things. You can search tags, you can search the A, B, C, D categories. So maybe I just want my A, B, and C groups and apply filter, and then it shows me that list in its entirety that way as well. So you can set up different types of filters, custom filters, and do the searching while you're out in the field. Long press again, and it comes back to my normal stuff. So let's go into the contact detail. One of the things that we did do is, because people were asking for that relationship score, I've added the relationship score to the primary contact photo area. So not only do we have the category itself, the ABCD, but we also have the relationship score there as well. So just a number that you can see where that's at. If there is a relationship between the two contacts, you'll see that relationship, either the spouse or significant other, will be in that upper right-hand corner. You do have the ability, and actually let me just go ahead and show that over here. If I go to Ronald's record here, Ronald and Cindy, if I click on Cindy's photo, it actually switches to Cindy's record. If I click on Ron's, it switches back to Ron. So make sure that, if you want to go into one or the other, just click on the significant others in the upper right-hand corner. It'll do a quick switch. So we've added that relationship score. We've also added, as you scroll through the list, we had all of these different sections: the mobile, the phone, the email, the addresses, the classifications, and the contact dates. But we have added the lead details. So as leads come in, you've got the whole section in Realvolve, and probably ought to bring that up. Make sure that you guys understand where we're at on this in Realvolve. So in the contact details section, we do have the classifications area in Realvolve, and these have all been in the mobile app as well. We've added this section here for the lead details, so you can see more information about when that lead came in, when did you first contact them. This is good information to use so that you know that the names are being handled, especially new leads are being handled properly, what's some of the basic information about them, and who is assigned to them. If you've got a team of some sort, who's actually assigned to that contact if you do assignments. So that type of stuff is there. So what we've done is we've added those fields to the mobile app as well: the lead date, first contact, status, property type, the property value, and the assigned agent. So that's all important stuff. And also the source details. People were saying, well, I don't know who referred this person. I know that they were referred, but I don't have who it was. So we've got that information on who and when the referral was, as well as the source. So those were just missing fields that we didn't do. We're actually planning on adding some additional ones, but wanted to make sure we get the primary ones out first. Okay, so one of the cool things, or one of the nice things that we have added as well, is whenever you edit a record, so whenever you're on a contact, so up here in the upper right-hand corner of a contact details screen is the little pencil. And whenever you have that pencil and you just tap on it, it brings you into the editing of those fields. The contact detail screen that we were on just displays everything. You can't change anything unless you go into edit mode. Well, you go into edit mode now, and we can see all the different screens. One of the things that we've added here is the personal details. Now, we had birthday, but we've gone into and added the relationship stuff. That was a big request. A lot of people were saying, well, I can add the two contacts, but I don't have a way to link them together, and I want to be able to link them together while I'm out in the field. So now you have the ability to select the type. So if I click on the type, all the different type options that we have in the main relationship type is there, as well as the ability to pick the significant other. So if for whatever reason they're no longer together or whatever, you want to remove it, there is an X to remove it. But let me go to a contact that doesn't have a relationship, say Jane Agent. And go into edit on Jane here, scroll down. You'll see that up here in the upper area now is this relationship section, and there's an add option. So if I click on the add, it brings me into that relationship. It does set them up as single, as an individual, so you can come in here and change the greeting and the mailing name if you want. But you can also select whether they are married, in a relationship, or whatever. She's married. And then if you know the anniversary, just grab something here, put in an anniversary. You can then click on the little lookup glass, the little person with the lookup glass here, and select the name. So go healthy agent. And now healthy agent's there, and I can click on save. So then what that does is that ties Jane agent to healthy agent. And now they have the connection between them. If I go back in and look at them, I keep clicking on the screen. It does not do me any good to click on the screen, guys. And I scroll up, then you'll see that married, health to healthy agent, the greeting, it goes ahead and changes and updates the greeting and mailing name for you. If you want to change it, you can make the changes, and then it also automatically sets the copy of the details so that those details then for the home phone, the kids' names, and also the tags get shared between the contacts if any of those are changed. So this has been a big request from a lot of people, and we're happy to make that available to everybody as well. One thing that I do want you guys to be aware of as well, we get this question a lot. Now I've got, in this particular list, there's 499 contacts. If the name that you're looking for isn't in your list, now technically it should be updating automatically, kind of automatically does a refresh every 2 hours is the intended refresh. But if you're on this main list or any of the lists, if you just drag down from the top of your screen, so I'm just kind of dragging down, you'll see the little circle kind of kick in, and it'll say refreshing contacts down at the bottom, and then contacts refreshed. What that does is that does a complete reread of the data that's out on our server and brings it locally onto your machine. The advantage there is if you've got a fresh list of whatever type, and if you get into an area where you have no cell service or no Wi-Fi service, you can still use Realvolve. So we do store a local copy of the database on the device itself, but whenever you make major changes and stuff, we instantly send those changes to the server whenever you click on save. And we keep the copy, but there can be times when you've made changes out in the field, or you've made changes in the office, and there may just be a small sync difference because it's not within a certain time frame. All you have to do is press and hold, and just drag your finger down the screen until you see the little arrows, and it does a refresh. That makes sense? So let's go back to Ronald. Got a lot of information on him. So on Ronald, one of the things, let me go, did I cover everything on this one? Yes. So one of the other big changes that we've made is in the editing of templates. So if I go to Ronald's record here and I scroll down to the email, or let's just go to the email section, you'll see down at the bottom, it gives us an option to send a Realvolve email, send a device email, or send a templated device email. So what's the difference? Well, if we do send a Realvolve email, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that, it brings up our editor. And this editor has been totally revamped. We had some challenges with certain devices not working well with it, and just the look of it was less than optimal. One of the things that I want everybody to be sure they understand is the toolbar up here at the top, the little bold, italicized, underlined, stuff like that. It's scrollable, so you can move your thumb or finger or whatever left or right, and you can change its options by scrolling left or right. In this upper right-hand corner here area, there's a little lookup piece of paper which allows you to look up a template. So if I click on that, you can choose a template. I'm going to scroll through and grab something. Okay, select that. A lot of merge fields and stuff in here. If if I click on the preview option, now I can go in here and I can make whatever changes. I can, select words. I can bold them. Just the editing capabilities of this has gotten a lot better. So you guys can do virtually anything that you want to do to edit this before it goes out. If I choose preview, it'll go through and it will do all of the previewing that it needs to do now. And then also if I click on send, it then sends this merged document to the recipient. So a lot of changes. I know that there were some devices that were having problems. They couldn't send emails or they couldn't send text messages. And I wasn't actually able to duplicate it in a lot of cases, but we totally rewrote that entire area. So I really feel like that should be no longer an issue.
Hey, Mark, really quick, when we send emails using the mobile app, will it auto include our signatures or do we need to add in that merge field?
Whenever you use a template, you definitely need to put in the signature. That's a great question. I don't think that we automatically add the signature to a blank one. So you will need the bracket signature in that case.
Okay, thanks.
I'll fix that though. So when you click on send, then it'll send that email and you're good to go. But all this editing has been significantly changed and a much better experience. So just hope that you guys enjoy that one. Okay. So the other thing that, and this was so simple, it was just almost ridiculous, but if you've got a mobile device or mobile phone and you touch the mobile phone number down at the bottom, it does give you the option to make a call. So if I want to call this number, I can call it. If I want to send a Realvolve SMS, I can do that, or device SMS, I can do that, or template device. And I didn't really cover that before on the email. I probably should have done that as well. If I say device, meaning I want to send an email, or in this case, an SMS, send a device SMS or device email. What it does is instead of sending it through Realvolve, it will use the device's own email, whatever email program you use, whatever SMS functionality is built into that phone, it will send it through the device. Now, the problem with that is we don't store a record of it. We can't be for sure that if you choose send SMS device that the content actually gets sent. We can send you to that device SMS or email, but we can't actually know for sure that it actually sent. So we can't keep record of it. Consequently, if they reply to it, we don't know that as well. So if you're sending stuff and you want record of it, you really need to send through the Realvolve SMS or the Realvolve email is the best practice. But you do have the ability to do it if you want. One of the things that we do now is whenever you do send an SMS through Realvolve, it will automatically update the last SMS date. We weren't doing that previously. We do now. But I did go ahead and say, okay, if we're sending a SMS through the device, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that. So it brings up the device's SMS. I could type in or say whatever I want to send it. I'm going to just cancel this. One of the things you'll see is that it actually happens right before, but because the SMS screen overtakes it, you don't see it necessarily. But what it does is it prompts you, it says, hey, do you want to update the last SMS date? We're assuming you've sent an SMS, but we don't know for sure. And since we don't know for sure, we're giving you the option to say, no, I don't want to update my last SMS date. I didn't actually send it, but if you do answer yes to this, it'll go ahead and at least update the last SMS date. And why is that important? Well, a lot of workflows that you use may have something to do with last SMS, when did I last send an SMS, or when did I last do something? And it's important to utilize that to make sure it's updated so that you can utilize it properly. So if I answer yes to that and scroll through, then last SMS is now August 3rd. Any questions on that? I keep asking because I don't see any questions, but I don't want to just assume that everybody understands everything. I really am open to any kind of questions here. Okay.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
on the text messages, when we were messing around with it and using the templated ones that have merge fields in it, it was creating a lot of issues because it was putting in like all the HTML in the text message. Do we need to create templates for text messages from our phones that are different without merge fields?
Well, if you're using a email template,
We were using the text message ones and it was still having issues.
Okay. Probably we need to take a look at that. It really shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Unless maybe the signature is causing a problem, depending on your signature.
I have a feeling it might have been the signature. Okay, thank you.
Definitely let us know on what you're experiencing there, and we'll take a look at it. Okay. The other thing that I want to make sure you guys are aware of, and this is something that's been there, but a lot of people don't know it, and it's because of the long press piece. A lot of people don't know a lot of the quick keys, I guess, of the mobile, which are there to help you. So if I'm on a contact record, which I'm still on Ronald here, and I long press, instead of just, if I just touch the phone number, it'll come up and say, make a call, in which case I could go ahead and make a call. Whenever I do that, it brings up the little call button. This is actually starting the call feature of the mobile device itself. That's not something we're putting there. The device itself is popping this up to let us call. So you would click on that and actually do the dialing. But it brings up this, and I'm just going to click on cancel. It brings up the wrap-up call feature. So if I'm calling there and I want to, maybe I want to make some quick notes, I can click on the little option to type whatever I'm saying, and it puts it into the system without me having to physically type anything. Go back to keyboard. I can say set next action, and it gives me some features to wrap up the call. And then whenever I click on the little save in this upper right corner, the little floppy disk, then it saves it to that contact record. Now, there may be times when you don't want to physically, I don't really want to call them. I've already called them, but I do want to kind of close up the conversation. I want to put some information in there. What you can do is just long press, instead of touching the phone number, long press on the phone number, and it'll bring up that wrap up a call for you. So it won't ask you to dial. It'll just bring up the wrap up a call. Now, this has also been a contention for, well, I'm trying to dial and it's not dialing. Many times it's the user long pressing on the phone number instead of just tapping the phone number. If you're using a mobile app to call and email, will it also update the info in the contact like the SMS? It does. If you're doing the wrap up a call, I'm trying to read between the lines, Dawn, on what you're asking there. It will prompt you to update the last call date here, and it does automatically update the last email date. But if you uncheck this, it will prevent it from updating that last call date. But it does the same thing for the dates for email, for calls, and for SMS. It does update those last call dates or those last dates. The other big change, and this has been a challenge for a lot of users that use a lot of the workflow features within Realvolve for checklists and for actions. On the mobile app, it had limited access to some of the things that were available and just didn't work as well as it really should have. Spent a lot of time making sure that this functions the way it's supposed to. So better handling of the checklists. So if you've got actions, and we're going to go in here in a second, but whenever you go into the calendar, if you've got an activity that has checklist options, the handling of those checklists is much better now. We can, complete them, mark them as not needed or whatever. But also if there's merge fields, the merge fields do a much better they actually save properly and do the things that they should. There were some fields that just weren't getting saved well and causing problems. So not a lot of people complained, but the people that did complain about it, we heard them. We wanted to make sure that they were fixed, and it was a pretty big undertaking to make sure that all those were dealt with. Likewise, whenever you're dealing with checklists that also have actions, either incomplete checklist actions or completed checklist actions, making sure that the screen updates properly and it handles it properly. This has been a challenge as well. If you have multiple checklist options and you have multiple action options, it now handles it and does all the things much better. Plus, some of the actions that were set up in the past were only doing actions that were local. We do now handle the background actions in a different way, in a much better way through our API that allows the action to work the way it's supposed to, just to say it the easy way. We've improved the handling of previewing. Like if you've got emails that you're supposed to be sending, it was always previewing whether it was automatic or not. And now if it's automatic, it goes ahead and sends it. If it has the preview option, it'll preview it before it gets sent. So you have some good options there for doing the same things that you do on the main app now in the mobile. The other thing is the mobile app was not handling webhooks, and now you can do the webhooks through the mobile as well. So if you've got any kind of action that's supposed to execute some kind of webhook, they now do it. So big change. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the calendar. And in the calendar, the different options. So whenever you look at the calendar, at the top of the screen, just make sure that people kind of know the functionality. You're viewing this in a kind of a week view as far as the days of the week at the top. But the one that's highlighted, in this case, the 3 Wednesday is highlighted. It's actually what's showing in the list below. So if you click on Thursday the 4th or switch back to Wednesday the 3rd, it actually shows you Wednesday the 3rd. If you need to move through the days, you can click the little arrows next to the August 22nd. You can see the different week options that are there. Or if you just tap on the August 2022, brings you up a calendar and you can choose whatever date you want to display. If you are an admin and you want to be able to see your other users' calendars, up here in the upper section, there's a little person with a lookup glass. You have the ability to pick what other calendars you want to see, what other users' calendars you want to see, and be able to select them as needed. Down at the bottom, there's 2 options. There's a past due and a due, and the way the design is supposed to be set up, you can just barely see the word past due, and that's actually by design. People say, well, I can't see past due. It's like, well, it's the icon. Whenever it's the active, you actually see the words whenever it's active. But in either case, whenever you want to see past due activities, you can click on the past due. If you look on the due, it's anything that's due today. Now, whenever you're scrolling through these, anything that has the vertical bars on them have been completed. They're done, like this checklist with actions. If I uncheck it, or if I check it again, go to uncheck it, I can uncheck anything by just tapping on it. You'll see that it does have the option for not to deal with it, little circle slash. That circle slash basically considers it complete, even though it's not. In this case, I do have a checklist, and it has actions. It has an action for an incomplete checklist. You can see now down at the bottom, it's showing us actions for an incomplete checklist, update tags when incomplete checklist. Now, if I wanted to execute that, I can just check it, and then I can click on run. In the older version, some of the visuals of this just weren't done as well as I would have liked to have, and we've spent a lot of time making sure that that's proper. But you can close this checklist, or you can run with the action. You can run the action and do what you would normally do on the main app. So it's all the same. If I check the notes right now, you'll see that it says action for an incomplete checklist. It's because my checklist has an incomplete item in that checklist. If I go ahead and complete it, you'll see now down at the bottom, it says actions for a completed checklist. And it's just send an email. So I can do the same thing, check it, and then click on run. Again, the older version just had some visual challenges. It just wasn't as intuitive. Now you know, hey, I can't run until I check something. Once I check it, then the run option is available. Those types of things. Once I run it, then it'll run it in the background. If there's an email that's a preview, it'll preview it first on the screen. Otherwise, it'll go ahead and send it. I'm just going to click on close on this one. But what happens then is that once that activity is complete, then it goes ahead and puts the vertical bars on there. You'll see that it has the Ronald Aronson here. Sorry, I keep saying this wrong name. If I tap on Ronald, it'll actually take me to Ronald. So if this is a phone call, if one of these options is, hey, call this person, what you can do is just tap on that person, and it gives you the options of which phone numbers. Choose the phone number you want to dial, and then it'll go through and start to dial. Once you've done with it, just click on the back and it'll do it, and then you can do the check. Now, the icons on the right hand side tell us some information about this activity. If it has the little hand with the thing, the knot around the finger, it's basically just a to-do. If we click on the item, you'll see that it is a to-do. There are different options for the different pieces. I click on to-dos, birthdays, emails, all the different activity options that are there. And it will kind of show that. In this case, follow up with Ronald is a phone call. So it's got the little phone in there. If I tap on Ronald, then I can call him. Once I've completed it, I can just click the little checkbox and it'll complete it. This one does not have any kind of checklist. It doesn't have any kind of action on it. So once you check the checkbox, it says, okay, it's done, and knocks it off the list. Check both of those off. If I have checklists only, then we have that option. Now, again, we've added all these different merge fields to the checklist so that all of those are on there. And one of the pieces of this is even checklist items that have links. I know a lot of people have put into a checklist a URL link, and I didn't show an example of this, but if it is a URL link in a checklist, more of an advanced feature, we now have the ability just to click on a little button and it'll take you to that URL. I probably should show you guys that, but I'm not sure we're going to have time. I'll try to do a video on that one, because that one's actually kind of a cool feature. If there are any, and I'm not sure that I've got any that have notes. Let's see. So I set up a workflow that is basically healthy things to do every day. So I've got a lot of these things that are just repeating every day in here. And as you complete them, you just kind of knock them off the list. Same type of thing. Let me go ahead and check off these and hit close. Since there's no action, it doesn't have a run option. So then we're all good there. If I want to add an activity, I can click on the little plus in the upper right corner and add it manually. So go through and do the options there. Any questions on that? Let's see. The past due on the bottom, if you choose past due, it'll go through and it'll show you all the different past dues. I think it's actually for the past 2 weeks. So it doesn't do all your past dues. If you've got some very, very old past dues, you may not be able to access those. The API, I think, only brings us past 2 weeks of past dues. If there is, and I'm not sure that I've got any, just like with let's go checklist with actions. Let me choose this. Let me edit this. And on the about, whenever you're editing an activity, you have the with field. Who am I doing this with? And then there's also the about, which is either a property or a transaction. And whenever you look through these, properties are blue, transactions are green. They've got the little house on them for blue properties, $signs for green houses. Everything's color coded within the mobile app, if you haven't noticed that. The red is for contacts, the blue is for properties, green is transactions, purple is the calendar. Just to make sure that you're in that particular section and not getting confused. But let's say, for instance, I select that this particular activity is about this property, and I click on save. With activities that do have contacts, they'll be shown in the red. Again, color-coded. Red is for contact. In this case, it's a green bar that shows the address. Just like if we click on Ronald, we can get to the contact. If we click on the green section, it takes us to the transaction. So we can see all the information about that transaction. We can see any notes about that transaction. If we click on the little notes section, down at the bottom, there's a section for notes, the details, and then the people, who are the people that are involved. One of the features that we added, it's been some time ago, for transactions is that if you're wanting to send, say, text messages or whatever to multiple people on this, you can check the different people that you want, click on the three little dots and say, I want to send a Realvolve SMS, and then it goes in and it does the process for doing those selected people. So just an easy way to send messages to the people if you want to deal with it within a transaction. We're getting close to our time. So like I said, we are planning on actually doing the full release of this August 15th. Right now, everything's been submitted to Google Play Store and Apple, the App Store. We're waiting on them to do their approvals. Once they're approved, then everybody can have access to them, which may actually be before August 15th date, but that's the date that I know should be very safe. But we're going to give you guys access to them, and I'm going to make sure that this screen is available. But if you are interested in getting access to it before everybody else, I just submitted the links to these. I'm going to make these slides available as well. If you're an Android user, go to the Android external test group link. If you're an iOS, go to the iOS test group link, and basically go through the process of submitting your email address and downloading the required. For iOS, there's a program called Test Flight, and through Test Flight, we give you notifications and stuff that you can have access to it. With the Android, the link that you can go to will give you access to the newer version. You don't have to download anything for the Androids. But the Test Flight for iOS gives you access to it, which, let me just kind of show you that. Blue Propeller, whatever. Find that app, and you can actually, it'll give you access to it whenever you click on this test group option here. Give you access, the link that you need to get to the Test Flight. Once you go into Test Flight, and once you've been put onto our list, you'll get notified that you can have access to the Realvolve mobile app v2. It's the newest version is 2.1.117 on the Apple Store. I think it's 18 on the Android Store. And then you just click on the open, and then it takes you to the application. So any kind of errors that you might run into, I'm hoping that you don't. But if you do, report them to me. If you, they're like Test Flight will give you the option to put any kind of errors that you've run into in there and send us some information. But if you just email me, mark@realvolve.com, I'd appreciate it. Our support team has access to this, but they're not fully trained on it. We're going to be going through some training very soon. Hang tight on reporting anything to support. Just report it to me. Will an update to the current app or be it'll be just a normal update. So if you don't want to do this test piece at all, you just want to wait for the new app. Whenever your app updates, it'll just update. You don't have to do anything. Well, unless you don't have automatic updates turned on. I have automatic updates, so any new applications just automatically update. Good question, Bobby. I know it's been kind of a long time waiting, but we want to make sure that it is good for everybody and everybody has a good experience with the mobile apps. Normal help and stuff, if just kind of a refresh, if you guys have any kind of help or support options, make sure you go to help, how do I, the chat, support tickets. We've got lots and lots of help options outside of the mobile app. On mobile app, if you would, go ahead and send everything to me, mark@realvolve.com. For those that are wanting more information about premium services, Lisa, are we still doing the 33% off?
Hey, Mark, Lisa dropped. She lost internet. I believe that we are.
Okay. I'm going to make an executive decision, and for anybody that's on here that wants more information about it, contact our sales team, sales@realvolve.com, and we'll make sure that you get that special deal. 33% off is amazing, so make sure that you guys do that. Any other? We've got just a minute or two. Any other questions? All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for participating. I hope this was beneficial. If you guys would leave comments on our Facebook group, would do that. Make sure you guys visit our YouTube channel, subscribe and like, and we will see you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye.